My name is Cynthia Bulik. I am a professor in the Department of Psychiatry at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and I'm also a professor in the Department of Medical Epidemiology and Biostatistics at Karolinska Institutet in Stockholm, Sweden. I am one of the co-chairs of the Eating Disorders Working Group of the PGC, and I also serve as the chair of the PGC Outreach Committee.
Hi, I'm Gerome Breen. I'm a geneticist by training. I work at the Institute of Psychiatry, Psychology and Neuroscience at King's College London, and I co-chair the PGC Eating Disorders Work Group with my collaborator Cynthia Bulik.
The Eating Disorders Working Group of the Psychiatric Genomics Consortium studies the broad field of eating disorders, but within that field, we study anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, and binge eating disorder.
These disorders are very prevalent, affecting up to 5% of the population, and they're also mediumly to highly heritable.
We started as a group studying anorexia, so that's where our first efforts were. And right now, that's the only eating disorders that we have genotypes and data on. We're now starting to look at the other eating disorders as well. So what we've done in 2017 is really try to build the sample size for anorexia nervosa. We published our first freeze of the data last year, in which we identified the first genome-wide significant locus for anorexia nervosa. And this was in a region that has been previously implicated in autoimmune diseases and in type 1 diabetes. And the really neat thing about that work is it also showed genetic correlations between anorexia nervosa and not only psychiatric illnesses, but also a bunch of metabolic and anthropometric parameters. So this work actually suggested that we look closer at the possibility that anorexia might be both a psychiatric and a metabolic condition. And now what we're doing is really growing our sample size so that we can have large enough numbers to dig into this question more deeply.
In 2018, we hope to have published a very large study of anorexia nervosa with over 16,000 cases. We'll also be working on doing similar analyses or starting similar analyses of bulimia nervosa and binge eating disorder. It's important that we make progress not just in anorexia, but also in these other disorders as well. We are doing this because if we can discover the molecular genetic basis behind the high heritabilities of eating disorders, then we can potentially identify new biology, which may suggest new treatments for these often lethal disorders.